Welcome to Big Oz Explorers. We've been touring in a caravan for over a year now and have learned a lot about how to manage in a tiny home while travelling around Australia. I'm Shan, and this is Chris, and our kids Jada and Jack. Follow our family and live van life through our eyes while we take you on the trip of a lifetime around Australia's hotspots. Click the subscribe button to join our adventure every Thursday and stay up to date with everything Big Oz.
Hey guys.
Good morning.
Good
afternoon.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Whatever it is. So we're putting a little video together. We're going to do a volume 2 caravan walkthrough.
Yep.
So we thought it'd be a good idea to throw together a video of all the things that we started with and what we've ended up with, what we've kept, what we've thrown away, what works, what doesn't, what things we'd may change again from this second time round. Just because we were very fresh in the beginning. It was very, very early days. We didn't know what to expect.
It was our first ever van.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people are hitting the road this time of year, and there's just so much to learn. And I think now doing it for as long as we have, we can give you guys some hot tips, some upgrade information that you might be able to imply into your van or your lifestyle for what you're doing on the road. So basically just a little video to throw together and just put all our things we've learnt together and show you guys, so it may help you guys out as well.
So it's basically a van tour 2.0.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the simple way to put it.
Sorry, I like rambling on.
Yeah, he does.
So we're going to start with the inside. We've got Jack asleep at the moment. We're hoping, fingers bloody crossed, that he stays asleep for the whole time. Otherwise we might have to do a take
half
and
a
cut and try again, but I think he should be pretty good.
Welcome. So we're just going to go through kind of like what I did last time, but I'm just going to show you things that we've changed, things we've improved, things we've kept, some of the things that you always ask us about as well, even now about what we've got in the van. I'm going to cover those and where we bought them from, why we bought them, how much they were, things like that, as best I can anyway. So at this end of the bed is our bedroom. So this end of the bed, this end of the caravan is our bedroom. So everything here is about the same. It's still hanging space. I still probably have too many clothes. The rest of the space is all identical except for the far cupboard, which I'll show you in a minute. So there's really no differences down here except this. So this was Chris's modification. So this used to be a hanging wardrobe, but he didn't have hanging clothes, and we forever had our camera bag just laying around, and Jack could get into things, so it's easier just to have somewhere to store it all. So these are two shelves that he put together so that we can put all of our camera gear in here. It also means he's got handy access to a shelf where he can put his phone for charging at night time. So it still works the way it was supposed to. A lot of people told him that he should do an iron-on edge on here, and we still haven't, so it probably looks unfinished.
Thanks for all the messages, guys. Yes,
yeah.
I do know what it is, and yes, I do want to put it on, but
Yeah.
it just hasn't happened.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been so remote for so long. Like, we're just in small towns, and the Bunnings is the size of a corner shop. So,
But even when you have the opportunity, there's always something else
There's
going
other
on,
things
and it's
happening.
right at the bottom of the list. But it
yeah.
will happen.
That's how, like, IT covered in a sense. So we keep everything camera related, video related, GoPro, recording, anything to do with that in there. All of this is still closed. Nothing's changed really. So bed-wise, people have asked us as well why we have such a small bed. We don't have a small bed. It actually folds out, so it comes closer. It'll actually come to about here, and there's what's called a bolster at the back. So this piece, and that folds back. So that's why it looks so small. If you have a bolster bed, or if this is something that you're going to have as an option on your bed, highly recommend that you get some extra support at the base for it. So give you an idea, that's how far the bed will extend. Yeah, so what we've done, we've actually done a couple of tent poles. Quick and easy fix right here.
This is true Big Oz style DIY fix.
Oh, hang on.
It's simple. Some people say, God, it must be annoying, but at the end of the day, look how easy that was. It was just, it takes seconds.
You can, whoa, probably not, maybe when the bed is on there. I've never done it on just the frame, that's funny. when the bed is there, you can just sit straight down, and it's like, it's fine. It feels supported. It feels
No, just
safe.
sit on it. Sit on it.
Yeah, I think it's just that I put my weight. Oh, it's weird when it's like that.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
It just goes to show. Let's lift your feet. Just show them that.
Ooh, it's weird. I need to sit on the actual bed bit, I think.
Yeah, but there you go.
Yeah.
That's holding your whole weight.
Oh, it's because it's on the bloody.
On
I
the
didn't even
piss.
put it down straight.
Yeah. So it does the job. It takes, because like if you got that much hanging out, just think that there's no support. You got kids jumping on there. You got, I know, you're just sitting on the edge of the bed, because this bed is basically like a big
become-
lounge, because
it's your
everyone sits on
sofa.
it. Yeah.
So yeah, that's our easy fix. They're like, what, 15, 20 bucks each or something, and we just chopped them down and put on some rubber mounts on the end.
Yeah,
So
these are
what
just
goes on
from
the chair.
Bunnings. They go from the bottom of your chairs and whatnot.
And then that's that done.
Yep, easy done.
So under the bed now, not much has changed. It's still really what it was. It's just really storage. So we have winter clothes in here. All the kids' games are up the back, and then like the air fryer. We've got the cryovacker under here, as well as a rice cooker, plus an extra fan, because you know, who doesn't carry an extra fan around, right? Half a carton of beer. But it's just storage space. And then this here is our Combi water/air heater. So we've had this since the beginning. It's all we ever know in a caravan. The pros, you have 10 litres of boiling hot water ready instantly. The con is that you have to click a button to turn that on and wait probably 10 minutes for it to warm up.
5 to 10 minutes. It's not that bad. A lot of
Yeah.
people do say they're not the best, but I rate it. It is good, but there is obviously better. But for what we've got,
Another con though, like it takes up a lot of room.
yeah,
Like that's a lot of your storage space. But this runs on gas. So you
got
don't
gas,
have to be
electricity.
on electricity. Gas,
Yeah.
electricity, or a mix of both as well. So there's a lot of things that are really good about this, and it'll suit a lot of people's setups. It's done us really well when we've been off grid. However, going forward, we've talked about getting instant hot water and probably a small Truma actually do like a small heater, which is just one vent. So this has 3 vents
yeah,
that go along the bed. We'll just have a 1 vent in a sense.
and it's just electric. Is it electric and gas? I can't
No,
remember.
it was gas.
Or just gas?
Heater.
Yeah, okay.
But for the times we've used it, like,
Oh, it's
we
very
put this
rare.
on when we do, and it's really cold, probably 5-10 minutes,
Yeah,
like if that.
but like when
And
you
the van's boiling.
when you think about it, you don't need a lot to heat up this space. Like it's not a very big
Yeah, it's,
area.
That's it. So
Like
yeah,
it does have 3 points down the bottom here. So you got 1, 2, 3. So that's three air vents that come out of that one. The smaller one that we were looking at just has obviously the one, but it is a bigger hole. But it will do the job.
yeah. Anyway, moving on. So this is what's called a scupper valve. I actually didn't even know what the real name for it was when we first were talking about it, or I'd only just learned it. If you look really closely, it's like kind of red and then white. That's because we've siliconed it shut. So
It's not opening ever again.
no, the one time we opened this was the one time that we had the most dust I've ever had in the van, and I just about nearly cried. Like, it was the worst day ever. It was up at the Cape, so then it got shut and it was never opened. I don't know if it's just because it's on this angled piece, or if it's the combination of our car and van, because some people say that it works really, really well. But for us and our setup, it's basically just a big hole for dust to come in. So no more. It's siliconed, it's done, it's over.
Didn't work for us, and it's done.
The GoPro vent, the GoPro mount here, no, it's nothing funky, because people tend to ask us about that. It's not.
Still yet to try that one out.
There's been a couple of times where we've done time lapses in the van, and it's just a good place where you can see everything, and that's it.
Yeah.
So the other thing while we're here is our yellow strip lighting. So all vans come with blue lighting, and blue lighting attracts bugs, white lighting attracts bugs, any colour attracts bugs. Yellow, however, doesn't. So this used to be blue. We've just taken off the strips and we've put, what would you call it, like racing tape on the back side of it. It's like painter's tape, racing tape,
Painter tape,
electrical
yeah.
tape, whatever you want to call it, on the back side, and clicked it back on and made them yellow.
Yeah.
This is what we use when we're off grid and we don't want any bugs, because you've got to have all your windows open, because some of them still come through the fly screens whether you want them to or not. So they're right through the van. Yeah, they're really cool. And this corner is kind of like our tech area, I guess. So we store like our keys here. There's usually van keys, car keys, all the rest of it, aircon. That's for our TV and aerial. You'll notice there's no aerial plugged in. We'll get to that. We have an iPod that's consistently plugged into our music. So this is where our music plays from, so we can have off-grid stuff downloaded. TV remote on the wall. And a broom. A broom is a must in a caravan. You need a broom. The amount of stuff kids traipse in, it's the quickest and easiest way to keep it clean.
We've got, you're probably wondering how it's stuck there.
Yeah.
It's just like a double-sided Velcro tape.
Yeah, they're 3M picture hooks. Picture hanger hooks. So they got like little dots on either side, and when they go together, they click on.
And truth be told, that does not fall off.
No, we can be on the worst of worst corrugated roads,
and it
that
still
will
stays
stay
there
the whole time. The remote as well.
Yeah.
Anything this is on by them.
Yeah, we're stuck a lot of anything that's basically stuck on a wall, like these ones, this one, all has the same setup.
So the other thing up here that we've got is our Sirocco fans. So the reason I want to tell you about these is because we started with the Sirocco II Fans. Now we've gone to the Sirocco II Elite. So the difference is, again, this has a quieter motor. The runtime of the Sirocco is 5,000 hours, whereas this is 20,000 hours. This has 4 speeds. The normal Sirocco has 3 speeds. So this fan and the one on the other side, which we'll show you when we get there, they are used every single day, all the time. Like they're always on. The extra speed is amazing, and just being so quiet, they're really good. Like if I put it on high, I wonder how much they'll be able to hear.
Yeah, I don't know, we'll find out.
So we're going on high. Oh, it sounds like it's going to take off a bit.
Yeah, but that is really high.
It's like ridiculous. But if I go low, like so now this is on the low speed, which is what we used to set it on all the time for the normal Sirocco. I don't know if you can hear that in the background.
Oh.
But
I don't know how much it'll capture, but
they're just silent.
Yeah.
They're amazing. Alright, moving on. Rest of our tech corner that I want to talk about. So obviously we've got our TV. This is different to what we had in the very beginning. This is a Kogan 24-inch smart TV. We used to just have whatever came with the van. This gives us the opportunity. It connects to Wi-Fi. It's got a YouTube button, Netflix button, YouTube Kids. It's got a USB port on the side. So we have
just showing the remote.
Yeah, we have downloaded movies as well. So a smart TV, I think, is the way to go. It is really good.
It's super. It's just practical and easy.
Yeah.
We found.
The thing about this though, this TV, we don't watch TV. Hey.
Yeah.
We watch YouTube.
Normal TV, we just don't. We haven't watched it. We didn't even really watch it like probably a couple of years before we even left.
No, we're not TV people.
We just never have been.
We watch YouTube and Netflix and probably the odd movie. So that's it. So we don't even have an aerial in it at the moment. I've actually disconnected the aerial cable that goes to here. And this is your aerial port up on the roof. And I actually do not have a clue the last time I put that up.
We were
I actually don't even know.
We were just saying if we did another van, I would literally just take it out completely.
We're just not going to have it. There's no point.
We just don't use it. It's as simple as that.
So yeah, smart TV. And the links for all of these products, things that you guys ask us about all the time that we're explaining, I'm going to put them in the description. So go through that. I'll put a timestamp with them, hopefully, and give you a link to all these different things. The other thing as well that we have now, so back when we first got in the van, we didn't know what sort of internet we wanted to have. This is a Telstra Nighthawk wireless 4G/5G modem. I think I got that right. So this is on a plan. We used to pay the $5 a month, which was the minimum, because what happens is you go through your 15 gig and then the data slows, but it was still usable. Now I pay for more, so I'm actually paying for the 200 gigabyte plan, and the reason being is just because I value speed. I'm on the internet a lot doing YouTube stuff, and we're doing socials and that. So this is 200 gigabyte a month. It covers us for iPads, phones, Netflix, YouTube, everything. So this is great. We've always had service. When there's Telstra around, we get service on there. So it's really good. Like at the moment, our phones, it's only got 1 bar, but our phones often where we are have 1 bar. Oh no, look, it's disappeared. but the internet will still work.
It's crazy. I've actually been doing messages on the
SOS
socials
and stuff.
Yeah, like there's not even a bar there, so I didn't even know how that's working.
There's no booster aerial. There's no other thing like that on there.
We are thinking of maybe doing a booster of some sort.
Yeah, we may down the track.
We don't know yet, but if we do go on that track, we'll obviously let you know what we've gone.
At the moment, there's nothing.
No.
It's exactly as it is.
Yeah.
So that's that. Moving on, we'll probably get into the tech area. So, not a lot has changed up here. Just move these out of the way. Oh, dummy. So this is our water tanks. So we have 3 water tanks. They're all 90 litres each. And at the moment you can see they're all on half. So we use this when we're off grid to track our water. I will say that it's not accurate, I guess.
Not 100% accurate.
It tells you around about what you've got, but if you're getting down your bottom quarter tanks, it's like, oh, are we on the top of the quarter or the bottom of the quarter? Like, you know, you don't always know exactly where you're at, but it does the job. We've got the BMS30 still installed, and the reason being is because if we're on grid with 240 power, it goes through this, and if we're connected to the car, it also goes through this. So that's still there. I'll tell you what happens with solar in a minute. This is our 12-volt pump for the water. Let's turn it on and off. This is the Truma water heater, which was under the bed. So this is how we turn on. You got your room, like air temperature, water temperature, whether you want to run on gas and electricity, and the fan speed when you got the gas, the air thing on. The other thing you can do as well down here in the settings, and that you can set a timer. So when you do your hot water, you can have it preset. So ours goes on from 4 in the afternoon until 8 at night. And that covers us then for doing washing up, bath time, showers, things like that, and then it turns off. And it's usually in the morning there's actually still like usable warm water if you want to do a wash up and that, as long as it's not too cold. If it's freezing, it might not be there. And then this little thing here is the Bluetooth module, which is for our Renology 100 amp hour solar regulator. So, oh my god, there's so many big words coming out today. So when we go under here, you might remember in our first tour, if you've watched it, that this cupboard was what we called our poo I'll have cupboard. To beat myself here. Our poo cupboard, yeah, our shit cupboard. So this cupboard had nothing in it except for this BMS30. To begin with, we actually had this shelf, and we separated the BMS30 and did another couple of little shelves in here, and it became just storage for, like, we got wires and head torches and goggles and your pens, pencils, all that sort of stuff. So that was all stored in here. Obviously, since we put this 100 amp hour solar regulator in, we needed more space, so we've removed the bottom shelves now. So it's just, there's only a couple of things in here now. So this is a Renology 100 amp hour solar regulator. It connects directly to our solar panels on the roof, which we've actually completely rewired ourselves now, because there used to be kind of like speaker wires attached to the solar panels, and we've got the thickest wire that we can use now, so we're not losing energy from the solar as it comes through to the regulator. Yeah,
they had a smaller gauge in there because we had the 30 amp Redarc 30, so there were smaller wires, so we've upgraded them now because we got the system to be able to cope with it,
which is this, which
is now the regulator, and that's just allowing us to pump a hell of a lot more solar into this van to recharge those batteries.
So I mean, I can't really show you the screen or much about it. It does have a phone app. It's got the Bluetooth capability. That's on Chris's phone, so I might just put in a little print screen here and show you how that looks. And our solar panels at the moment, we have the ability to take in, we've now learnt about 30 amps of solar on a perfect day. However, it's never normally a perfect day. So I think we're normally like 25 or thereabouts.
Around about 20 to 25.
2 of the panels we have up there are Chinese, and they don't even say what wattage they are, so we don't even actually know really what they are. So we're going to replace them when we get to a bigger town and put in a couple of bigger panels, and then we'll be able to utilise this to its max. But at the moment we can have both this going and the car charging at the same time, or 240 and this running, whereas the BMS30 would only pick the highest charge, so you could only use 240, only use solar.
There was only one input.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool from that perspective. We have 2 ways to charge. And I'll show you this too. This is a wireless baby monitor that runs on the internet. So when we go to a campsite that's 2 or 3 sites down, just to go and have a beverage, and the kids are asleep, this goes on, and it's basically like a live camera which goes straight to my phone.
Yeah,
So-
it gives you what motion detections, noises, all that sort of stuff. It's actually really impressive. I'm pretty cool. It's a pretty cool little product.
50 or no, I think it was, no, it might have been 99 in Kmart.
Yeah.
Like, perfect. So yeah, moving on. Now, and all these baby latches that are on the doors. This one is simply to stop Jack because he's a pain in my bum. This one is actually to help because this latch, we've replaced it once already and it always goes. So there's a button here.
Yeah, it's just not suited
This
to harsh
issue,
conditions.
but that's not the issue. It's the bit that's here that always snaps. It's plastic.
It's just
we
a little
really
plastic
just need
thing.
a new one.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's our pantry. Pantry's still the same. We still use it. We've never lost anything glass in here. Like I got glass peanut butter, glass dips, bits and pieces like that. We've never lost anything like that in there. It's actually, it travels really, really well. It's a good pantry. If you get something like this, it's a good design. And there's extra bench top if you ever need it. However,
I don't think we've ever used it.
I think I used it once in the beginning because there was a novelty, like, oh, I've got more bench space.
Because you've got to have it out, obviously, to use it, which is in itself a pain in the ass.
Jack gets into everything.
But anyway.
You'll notice like a lot of our things look like this as well. So like the labels just go to absolute crap. And this is corrugations.
That just goes to show how much we do off-road. There's
Everything
a lot of
we
things like
own
this.
looks like that.
Yeah.
When it's stored away somewhere.
Drink bottles.
And has the ability to move around.
Yeah.
Corrugations will just...
They suck.
Yeah.
No one likes corrugations.
Corrugations are fun. Alright. Pop all these back up. Out of the way. Get our bench space back. So, into the kitchen. Welcome to the kitchen. I don't have to move far. So in here, pretty much everything's still the same as what it used to be. In here, we love our Yetis. We didn't have Yetis in the beginning. We actually had like plastic cupware. I think we had real mugs. We actually had China mugs, and we had the Corel plates, and they're just heavy. They risk breaking, so everything's changed from that perspective. So everything we drink out of now is either Yeti or a Camelbak. So we love the Camelbak cups, but we love the Yeti water bottles. That's kind of where we're at now.
We're going to do a little review video.
Keep saying it.
Yeah.
Of the two.
Of the two. We've got Yeti, we've got Camelbak, and
we've even got like
some Navigator stuff
here as well. So
yeah.
We've got a mixture of different things.
Because everybody's doing drinkware now, and there's so many out there, and it's just cool to sort of break it down because some have good things, others don't.
Yeah.
And it's just, we will do something like that very soon.
We never had any Tupperware when we left, and I've accumulated 2 of these, and they're the Woolworths Collect Your Reward Point giveaway ones.
They're actually really good.
They're perfect for one serve of food, and they're easy to store away. So we have 2 of those, which we use as we need them. And then our new plates and bowls. So these ones are bamboo and they're from Anaconda. And the reason that I chose these, believe it or not, is actually their grippy bottom. I love this. And this is to do with Jack. It's also to do with the fact that they're unbreakable. They're lighter.
Well, if you just put plastic on a bench like this.
Yeah.
Slippery as. Like that.
It's the best thing ever.
That grips. Like, so, just that in itself is crazy.
All the plates. They have them as well.
All the same.
And same with the bigger ones. On paper plate. But yeah. Yeah. And that's a really, really, really good feature.
And that's a big reason when you'll find out when we do a review on the cups, there's a cup that has something very similar to that that makes it that much better. There you go. There it is right there.
Camelbak.
We'll talk more about that in another video.
So these shells, I get asked about these so much. Like people just see them in passing through series and that, and they're like, oh my god, where are your shells from? So these are from Howard Storage. They weren't cheap. They were like $30 a shelf or something. Like I actually probably paid way too much for all of the things that I got in here, because then afterwards I realised the Big W have a similar range, and Big W's are like $8 a shelf. So have a look in Big W as well. They still do the white like covered metal version of them, or they have plastic ones and that. But this is just because you've got this massive space that you need to break up. Like you can't just have one level on the bottom. It's unrealistic. So yeah. And these things, while you're at it, while you took that off, you would have seen Chris just take that off. These are on all of our cupboards. These came with the van. Yeah. So I have no idea where you're going to find them. You might be able to make your own version of them.
Oh, you can make something up yourself.
They
Easy.
do help stuff stay in, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So, moving on. Next, this is like my junk and medicine cupboard. So there's lots of sauce packets and things in here for just different things along the way. I have a stash of Skittles, which is to do with Jada's schooling, because whenever she finishes every day, she gets a Skittle of every colour. So that's what they're there for. Recipe book, scales, medicine. So
Where do we get little basket things from?
These ones here are from Big W.
They've been really handy.
Yeah, Big W. You'll see them throughout the van, actually. We've got a few of them. I've got one in the fridge. Like, I've got a couple over there as well. So
containers go such a long way in a caravan.
Because, well, not just that. Like, if I want to give Jack a medicine,
that's everything you need right there.
You know, that's one of them out, and then I can pop it back up. So it means everything's easily accessible. So yeah, doing little things like that is definitely helpful. All right, that's about it there. Moving on. So kitchen-wise, the kitchen hasn't really changed much. So we've got paper towel holder up here. We've always used this, love it. The only thing I find is when the windows are open, this likes to unravel itself sometimes, and then you end up with paper towel everywhere. So I sometimes put a hairband on it because it frustrates me.
That was again Howard storage, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you can get these things from Bunnings.
Yeah, they seem to be getting more regularly available.
I can't remember what they're called now. Fusion Lock, I think.
Fusion Lock or something, yeah.
Bunnings have a full range of them, and I think they're a bit cheaper there than Howard's. I went stupid at Howard's in the beginning, and I spent
hundreds.
A little bit much, and Grace was
hundreds.
Like,
I couldn't even believe the receipt.
It's a very loud song. He's not waking up though, which is good. Yeah, so I spent too much in Howard's. Go to Bunnings, go to Big W, go to Kmart, because they're all there. So this is another thing which is from Howard's. I've not found anything from anywhere else that is the same as this though. I love it. It is the most easy dish rack ever. Excuse all like the scaly stuff in it, because it's probably a bit gross. So there's basically a hole where the water comes out and you can direct where you want it to go. And it fits like, just to get you the plates, like so much washing up goes on this.
Yeah, it's tiny but holds a lot.
Keeps going.
The thing I love about these bamboo plates, they fit perfectly in here.
Into everything.
Like you can throw that around a bit and it still doesn't come out, whereas others will fall over. They just seem to fit really, really well.
You're obviously a bit of the back for your cutlery. The other thing about this as well, so when we're travelling, I fill up the sink and I put lots of stuff in the sink. I've got a special sink holder which I'll show you when we get there, but it fits in there as well. So everything fits into the sink, everything kind of interlocks and works. So that's that. Moving over, we've upgraded our coffee machine. So we've been on this coffee journey from the day we left until now. And we started off with instant, then we've gone to pods, like Coles pods, then we've gone Nespresso pods, then we've been in Starbucks pods, then we went to reusable pods with our own coffee because we love Campos. I don't know if you've heard of Campos. So we went through that process as well, and now we've upgraded to this. So this is, you choose your own milk, you honestly like tamp your own coffee into here and make your own coffee. So
but there's a little milk frother that goes on the side there too.
Yeah.
So you got
I'll show you. Hang on.
You got three features: espresso, cappuccino, or latte, and you can literally pick like the level of froth that you want in it and everything else, which is so cool.
There's your coffee in your and then your frother comes out here.
Oh, so good.
It's really good.
Changed coffee for us, but next level.
It's really easy as well. So
we were sort of a bit worried about the size of it and how bulky it was, but in the same token, like it's not really that bad.
If you love coffee,
you'll make it work.
You won't mind. And in saying that, because a lot of people said to us as well, the hassle we used to go through with the reusable pods and the grinding and everything, why would we do that? But when you break it down, if you're buying a coffee every day for $5-6 from a cafe, which $5-6 is realistic these days, add up everything to buy your machine, buy your beans and do it all yourself. This is sometimes less, sometimes more, depending on what you're choosing, but this machine is only $300. Like, $300 machine and you got your own coffee. So
anywhere you want to go. Like you can be anywhere and have a good coffee.
It's 540 watts. I'll put it in if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's 540, so it's fine on our inverter. We've got a 2001 inverter.
I think I was looking at the other day, it was pulling about 111 amps at its max.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, it only takes...
about 20 seconds.
Yeah, 15, 20 seconds to make a coffee, and you do 2 of them. I think we chewed 3%. It's nothing.
Of 200 amp hours.
200 amp hours.
Yeah. So what's that, 1.5%? 1.5 amp hours.
Yeah.
3%. Yeah. Alright. Moving on. Our knife holder. So this is something which, again, I get asked so much about this.
All the time.
So the knives, they're IO Shen. They're really good knives. We actually get them sharpened and they're amazing. So this is not the sort of knife that you're actually going to walk into because you probably cut yourself in half. So these IO Shen ones I take off when we're traveling, whether we're on road or on corrugations, no matter where we go, because I care about them. There are times when Jack's screaming, Jade is in my ear, and we're in a rush, and I actually do forget about it. It's not often, but when I do, they do stay on. They'll sometimes move a little bit like this. This one likes to come off. I don't know why.
Well, it's got less surface.
Well, it's got a really heavy base as well, so you know. But yeah, so they move ever so slightly, but they do stay on. And when they come off, if this ever comes off, it's usually on corrugation. So if you get one of these, you would be okay to leave them there, I'd say. Maybe not your little paring knife. These guys stay on all the time. I never take them off, and they're fine. And I think it's just they got a thicker blade too. I don't know. But I love that. It's really good. It's a nice place. It's out of the way of kids. You're not going to accidentally, stab yourself in the drawer because everything's moved around. And
yes, they are still borrowed. We will take them back.
Oh, the Lone Star.
Yeah.
There's a big story behind that. Ask us one day and I'll tell you in person. I'm not putting it on YouTube.
Oh God, no.
Anyway, so the other thing while we're here, these are the lights. So these are, I'll have to find out, Hardkorr lighting with a K. So hard K-O-R-R lighting. These are little reusable lights. So you've got 2 light settings.
Bright, dull,
orange, and then there's a flashing one. But I mean, unless you're riding a bike, I don't think you'll ever need that. But we use these off-grid just to save some power. So we'll just leave one of these on. Super, super handy. We never use all 3.
We have had these way back when we used to camp.
Like swagging days.
Yeah, because that one's probably a bad example. But on the back here, just pull that off. It's like a little hairband, and you can wrap it around poles, you can put it over hooks, you can hang it from places, you can do all sorts of stuff. But yeah, they last.
Or it's magnetic.
Last for ages. Well, they got 3 AAA batteries in them.
Yeah, so they got a little charging case in them.
Yeah, they do actually last a fair while. We use these quite a fair bit. There's
one in the bathroom
4. Too. Yeah, we got 4 of them all up. So that's a.
Oh my goodness.
We'll get to that when we get to the bathroom, but we'll show you why we have one in there.
Yeah. That's about it here, isn't it? I don't think I've missed anything. We've got our normal... Oh, no, there was one other thing I was going to tell you about. Actually, there's a few things down here. So, then we've got our oven, stove top, whatnot. Had we been able to change things, we would go grill and stove top and bugger off the oven. Because in the time we've been in the van, once at the Cape, we had a really, really, really bad long day. Everyone was exhausted. It was a crappy road. We nearly ran out of fuel. Just everything went wrong. So I baked a cake. So everyone could have a piece of cake. Because it was just one of those days. That's the only time I've ever used it.
Ever.
Apart from that, do you want to see what it's used for? Storage. So I've got a couple of extra stoneware things in here. Pizza pan, cups. There's plasticware in here which I use in the microwave. And my onions and potatoes. Because onions and potatoes are good in the dark. They last a lot longer. And it actually stays really cool in there. So that's my storage shelf. And I could have had a big pots and pans drawer instead. And I totally would go pots and pans drawer because my pots and pans are in here and not in a drawer. So yeah. Yeah. I don't think I need to even say much more about that. I think that sells itself, doesn't it? As to why I would not have an oven.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's a pain in the bum. Drawers wise, these all pretty much look the same. We've got separator things which again come from Howard's. What are they called? Dream drawer. And they're separators, so they actually extend. Hang on. So you can see they go in and out. So you can fit different types of drawers, and there's different size ones depending on your setup. So if that looks too big, there are smaller ones. So we've done that just to break it all up and so we can fit things in. My spare gin Very important stuff. And then in the top, cutlery, utensils, and bottles, because we still go through bottles like it's going out of fashion.
Oh, I can't wait for those things to disappear.
Time will come.
We use so much water off grid, just washing them and refilling them.
This is a recent tool that we've just purchased in Kununurra, and the reason being is because when you move in your caravan, you're going to find that your freezer always ices up. Whether you like it or not, it's probably going to happen unless you install like a 12-volt fan, which some people do. We haven't. This is a really great scraper. It's actually a dough and pizza maker thingy, so you can cut dough and that. It's a massive scraper, so you can get all that ice off.
I just did it yesterday, and it took me half the amount of time that it normally takes.
It's a very handy tool to keep with you.
Yeah. And saying that the freezer doesn't freeze that often, that's probably been, God, months since we last did it.
In the time we've been in the van, probably 4 times.
Yeah. So it's not very often. I don't personally go for the fan things in there. Like, it will ice up every now and again, but it takes you 5 minutes, clean it out, it's done.
Yeah, it doesn't take long. It's done and dealt with. So, microwave wise, this is a 900 watt Whirlpool. This got replaced only a couple of weeks ago because our other one rattled itself to pieces because of corrugations.
You hear a lot of people saying the first thing to go is in the microwave. The microwave's just, I don't know, they just don't like it. Especially if you're doing as much off-road stuff as we do. It's I think a lot of people would agree that they can't withstand the...
This one has the glass plate, obviously, like most do as well, and the glass plate I put in a Navigator microwave buddy, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's like a storage
whatever
buddy
it's called.
thing.
You can put your plate into it though and store it away in there, and we've never had a broken one. Touch wood. We've never had a broken one, so hopefully that continues that way. So we've got the microwave. We do use that just to warm bottles up or bits and pieces along the way.
Reheat leftovers.
Yeah.
It's not very often.
So fridge freezer, this is 198 litre, I'm pretty sure, Dometic. I think it's an older model now. You can actually get one that's narrower and taller, and it's like 224 litres, I think it is, with a little bar in between here instead. But size-wise, I mean, there's a lot of
look how nice and clean that freezer is.
See all this ice collecting? This, over time, it does build up. And it's extremely full in there at the moment.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on.
We spent about $400 on shopping before we left Broome.
We've never had an issue with the fridge, except for this shelf. You can see I've duct taped it in now because this little corner piece just right there has snapped. You can see the difference if you look at that one to that one. That's a piece. Yeah. And that's missing it.
So that's the only. Yeah, that's the only. Well, that was just recently as we just finished the Gib.
Gib was unforgiving.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's the only issue we've ever had with that. This fridge as well, you'll notice these both have the baby latches on them as well. I put these on when we're travelling. The reason being, way back at Airlie Beach, I did a massive shop and the door must have been quite heavy and I didn't click it in, I don't know, because it's got like a clicker on it. And this opened and I had yogurt go all through the van. I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to have that happen again. So I clicked this shut when we travel just in case.
It's just a backup. It's just a guarantee that even if it was going to, it can't.
At the end of the day, it is still a box with 4 walls of moving stuff.
Oh, these vans.
And think about everything and how it moves. You know what I mean? Sometimes things happen. So I clipped them shut and then I've never had an issue with it since. So that's that. Moving on, we'll leave this end until last because Jack's obviously asleep. So this box that's under here is not normally here, just in case you want to know about it.
That's Jack's toy box.
Jack's toy box because he didn't want to go to sleep unless I took it out. So I'm going to remove some chairs for you. I don't usually go to this much detail. I normally just lift. We're good. I normally just go like this and just lift it enough to grab what I want, unless I'm doing like a full repack or something. But this here is my food storage. So this is all heavy extra stuff like soda waters, milks, extra foil bags, there's bug spray, extra sauces that we use all the time, flours, rice. We normally have like kilos of rice in here. The next cereal we're going to use, anything like that. So this is kind of where I store it all. And then the other thing, obviously, which is the most important in here, is the 2000 watt Enerdrive inverter. So this is something which didn't come standard in the van. This is something that we added. We like we said, we were so new to vanning, we didn't really know what we would need or what we wouldn't. And things like BMS30, we thought that that would be so much for a caravan. It's not. We didn't think we'd need an inverter. We did. We thought we'd have enough solar. We didn't. So we've learnt this all along the way. So the inverter we actually had installed, we wired up the button ourselves, which is in our episode when we were at, where were we?
Lucinda,
yeah. So this is how you turn it on. So that actually goes through like a channel in the wall all the way down and connects to it so that it can turn it on. And the other thing we did, we had a 240 guy come out and he's hardwired one of the points to the inverter to here. So you can plug two things in at any time into your inverter. And then we tend to use this extension lead as well. So this extension lead, we can plug into here and then we can run that over here to the coffee machine, to the microwave. If we're off grid, that little camera that I use for Jack as well, that can go into the camera. Just trying to think what else.
So this is not your standard sort of setup. Like most inverters now, you'll have it hardwired into the van, so you can use any point in the van while that inverter's on.
And that's something we would do going forward.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Again, this was just another learning curve, something that we didn't know much about, and we've learned tons and tons since then.
Stars. It's from Jada's birthday. She got a package and there's stars all through it. Thanks, Mum. So yeah, going forward from a battery perspective, I guess we would 100% have a 2000 or a 3000 watt inverter. We still love the IBIS 4 air conditioning. We would go, so at the moment we've got 200 amp hours of battery, which I'm going to show you in a minute. We would probably go 400 to 600 dependent, and obviously hardwire the inverter as well. So that's, and well, solar will depend on your system and what, regulators and how you go about it.
We're definitely going to go bigger than what we got.
Probably, I reckon 600 watts.
Easy. 600 to 700.
Yeah. So battery system wise, we've made errors in our choice in the beginning, but we fixed it in the best way we can. So yeah, that's that bit. I'll just show you in here real quick. I won't take everything, the back piece off, I'll just take this one off. So under here, this is like our bag storage area. So we've got our waterproof oh my goodness. We have waterproof North Storm bags under here and one from Anaconda as well. The 200 amp hour lithium battery. And then under here on this side, these are shoes. So there's like our Aleader water shoes that you love so much. I'm even going to put a link to that in this. So Aleader water shoes, guys. There's a link in the description, so you know. And these are extra thongs because thongs have blowouts. And then ice creams. I usually leave them there because I can just easily access a couple and put them in the freezer.
Correction, ice blocks.
Ice blocks, sorry. So that's the Caravan plate holder that I use. And then this here, and the reason they're here is because they're just easy to get to for pack up and set down. And this here goes in our sink. So I'll show you this real quick because it's really cool.
Crazy Dog Canvas. If you haven't heard of them, they actually do some really good products.
It's going to do a pack up.
Very hearty, long-lasting products. We had a couple of bags, but there's only so much we can carry. We've got a couple of waterproof bags that sort of suit us to the T.
We've still got the Crazy Dog bag.
Yeah. But we've had to chop and change a few things because you can't carry everything.
Yeah, you choose what you do and don't need.
Yeah, but this is definitely one of our favourite ones from these guys.
There we go. Use my bum to move things around. So when it comes to pack up, see how there's water in the sink now because there's bits in there. So you're usually wet in here, your drain's there, you don't want stuff coming back up to ruin what you've got. So these are made custom to fit into your sink. So we gave them our measurements and they gave us one relevant for our sink. It's got extra little pockets and things along the side in here if you want to use those. And these all Velcro on. So there's Velcro right the way around the top. You can move them around if you need to. It just goes in the sink. So then as well, so I'll put everything in here. We've got like everything and anything really. Whatever.
Basically anything that lives on the bench.
Yeah. So I usually just end up packing everything into here. It's all away. Let's say we stop somewhere halfway and go, oh, let's have some lunch. And I need to use the sink. I can just take it all out. Put it somewhere else out of the way. Use your space as you need to, and then you can put it back on and you can get back on the road. So yeah, that's that. I think that's a really cool addition. It's not something we had in the beginning or thought we needed, but when you look in the sink, well, you kind of can't see, they're wearing away over time, but you can see like rub marks and stuff in certain places, and that's because I used to just put everything directly in the sink. So we could have probably avoided that and had an even newer looking sink. Not that that probably matters to many people, but to some it does. So
small things, small things make a big difference. Yeah.
So yeah, back on the other side of the van now. Not a lot to show you here. It's mainly just pantry. There's a lot in there at the moment actually. So again, we're using these shelves. That's a slightly different one. It's just a single level shelf. It's hard to see because there's so much around it. But there is one of those in there as well. Again from Howard's. Again, you can get them from Big W. And then in behind here, there's another little one of those plastic guys, which has more sauce spaces and, you know, powders and things like that. So that lives in there as well. It makes it easy to get things out. This is kind of our chip and popcorn area, I guess. And then this final one at the end. Is more like, you know, rice, cereals, there's coffee, there's sugar, there's corn flour. So I've got lots of these little containers in here. Tea, porridge, all that stuff. These containers are the latest ones that you can get from Sistema, and they are amazing. So the reason being, they're that square that you're not losing space, and they stack really, really well. So we have them, everything in there stacked, nothing ever moves. These are like the best containers ever, and I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not told to say that at all. That's literally me going out and buying them and figuring that out for myself, because I just love everything about them and the way they work and how they stack together. So if you look in there, you can see just how many like different ones I've got going on for just different products and stuff behind. So they all just sit in there and they save so much space. So the containers that I used to have in there are all the same ingredients, but it used to take up this whole space. But now that I'm using these containers, I've actually gained an area. So we've got a couple of other bits and pieces up in the corner as well. So the Sistema range, they have a name. Again, it'll be in the description. Just have a look in there and you'll be able to read more about it.
Can we just touch on this clock real quick?
Yes.
We get asked absolutely all the time about this clock.
We can.
I can confirm and tell you now, after many questions and many bits of research, that they do not stock it anymore. I don't think it's even available to buy anywhere anymore. So we've literally got the one and only, I think, left of this clock, because I haven't seen it anywhere else and nobody can find it.
When I bought it, it was in Officeworks and it was on special.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was clearance, but I know it was on special. I was like, oh, that's a good deal. And I wanted it because I wanted it to do everything. So you got your degrees, your date, and your time, just to keep some sort of orientation in the van, in a sense. And it was good. It fits up on there, out of the way. It's out the way of all the cupboards and stuff. But yeah, we do. We get asked about that a lot. So it was at Officeworks. I think it was about 30, 40 bucks or something. And the brand is Degree.
I've tried looking for it. Other people try looking for it and they just cannot find it.
If you find it, drop it in the comments, please.
I'll let people know.
Link.
I reckon they'd sell out that day.
Then there's all these things throughout the van as well. So there's one of these in my cupboard. There's one here and there's ones in the bunk bed. Sandalwood sticks, we still use them. We haven't used them as much because there's not actually that many issues up here, to be honest, where we are at the moment. Keep a diary, which is more to do with YouTube and work related stuff, and then just our maps. So this is, you know how everyone has their map that they put on their fridge or on the side of their car or whatever it is. This is ours. I just fold it away so it's out of the way.
What is this from a post office?
Yeah, they're like $9.95 or something.
A HEMA one. HEMA Maps Australia.
So this is where this caravan has been. It's been up to the Cape, it's been inland Queensland, Lawn Hill, been up to Darwin, and then through all of the Kimberleys, pretty much all the Kimberleys. We've just done the Gibb River Road and we went to Karratha, but we're actually just before 80 Mile Beach at the moment because we're on our way back down. So that's what this caravan has lived through. So what you're seeing now has been through a year and a half of Australia. Alright.
And done a bloody good job at it.
Yeah. I'm excited. When we get home, I want to frame this.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I don't mind if it's got like little rips and things or accidental marks from Jack and that, you know, it makes it ours in a sense. And then I've got another one which we use as a trip planner, so when we just want to look through it, we can do that. But this is like the one that has our trip. Alright. He's pretty passed out.
Let me just get a pan of him.
I think we'll be alright to move on. Just turn on all the lights. So we'll go shower first, all the way in. He's alright. Something we have compliments about all the time is how big this shower is. And I'm telling you right now, I love it. It's so good. I can you can bend over, you can do anything you need to do. There's heaps of space. And part of the reason for that is because it's a fiberglass shell. So there's not like a shower shell in here. That's the back of the Caravan. And over here is the side of the Caravan. So they haven't had to put an extra wall or anything in there. So yeah, it makes a big difference to the space. We've got a couple of little shelves in here, which we've had since the beginning. Just to hold bits and pieces and stuff. Since Jack has got bigger, we've upgraded our bathtub for him. So that's now a bigger bathtub. It used to be a little round one because we left and he was only 6 months and he's 2 in 2 days. So yeah, and just our puffs and stuff. So this is all done really well. These little hooks you can buy from Bunnings, you can buy from Kmart. They honestly, if I show you, look, I don't want to take it all the way off. Hang on. They just peel. They're like sticky stuff and they just stick on. They're really good. Another way that you can save your walls and still hang up cool stuff. So that's the shower. Moving into the bathroom. In here, not much has really changed, to be honest. Everything's pretty much the way it was. I think I told you about this in the last tour, my hair straightener, that I'd only used it like once. I think I've used it maybe 3 times now. And the hairdryer.
I think we used it more back in Calanara to get some stickers off.
Yeah, we took stickers off using the hairdryer to heat up all the sticky stuff, so we used it for that. I might talk a little quieter, do you reckon? Our toothbrush holders, they're still the same ones, we still use them. They used to be over the toilet and people gave us a lot of grief saying that they shouldn't be here because they're in the toilet area. So okay, good point. And we moved them, so they're here now. Sink and everything's the same. Under here, this is here for Jack, not because there's a problem, because it's our cleaning chemicals and stuff. So it's all just bathroom stuff really. It's pretty much the same. Not much has changed in the bathroom. And on the wall, more of those fusion locks. And then this is the other light. So you can see here, it's like on with the wires, but at night time, that's a really good night light that Jada can use when she's going to the toilet, and then she can turn it off and go back to bed without like blinding everyone, because the big lights that they give you are just way too much. So yeah. And then finally, we've got the bunk area to go. Before we get there, because Jack's sleeping, we installed a new fan. This is to give her airflow in this area. Having this here, this bolster, has stopped a lot of airflow from the aircon. I don't know why, but having a fan to move it and continue moving it back has helped heaps. This is our prison curtain for when adults
want to have adult separation time.
Yes. No, not prison curtain, prison sheet.
Prison sheet. Yeah.
Someone said that to me one day on a comment, and they were like, lost my marbles. I thought that was hilarious. So yeah, that's our privacy in a sense.
It's funny because it's just a carrot, and people are like, what's so special about it? But honestly, that separates
so good.
Half the Caravan, and you can literally have them down there doing their own thing, and you can be in here.
We don't use it during the day and stuff,
It's
like
not,
at night when they're sleeping.
Yeah.
So like if you're getting changed and stuff, like rather than nosy eyes being like, oh, what's going on out there, a curtain changes that. Hey.
Yeah.
Some people seem to have those like, what would you call them?
No, like a retracting material door sort of thing.
Yeah, they're kind of like they got like a zigzag shape and they slide into each other. And I've heard a lot of things about them breaking or not working, or they don't clip up, or they don't line up.
Well, especially if you've got kids, because they hang off them and they run into them, and they're not practical. A simple curtain does the exact same thing.
We've taken it off a couple of times as well and washed it because of oily fingers and things like that, so that worked well. Okay, so the last bit that we're going to go through is the bunk area and the rear cupboard. So we have a triple bunk, and the reason that happened is because we actually planned our build and what we wanted, and it was nearly the same as this, but then COVID happened and the wait was going to be so long. So this is March 2020, and they actually had a three bunker available, so we went with that. So we got Jada up the top. Since last time you would have seen it, she swapped directions. So she used to have a toy box down here and I head up the other end. We've now gone the other way around. She seems to like it this way too, and it's kind of good because there's like a corner where you can shove all the toys out of the way up the far end. And Jack has always been that way around with his toy box down there and his head up this end. It's pretty empty because we don't want him to like suffocate and stuff. He used to have a zipper front on here, which was to stop him from coming out, but now that he's a bit older and he understands the idea behind it, this is just like a normal bed breaker, and so we've got one gap where he can come out, and he hasn't fallen out. He knows to just sit here and go mum and say hey and stuff, and it's been really good for him. So that's that. And then our bottom bunk is kind of just storage. So there's a bit of everything there at the moment. We've got a generator, we've got a little vacuum cleaner. This is the Shark vacuum cleaner. It is the best thing in the world. If you need a little vacuum cleaner, it only runs on 240, but like it sucks. It sucks. So yeah, there's that. Jack's presents are here.
It sucks good.
Sucks good.
Doesn't suck.
No, it doesn't suck. It sucks good. And then Jack's presents are actually underneath this. This is our dirty sheets that I've still got to wash, but this particular park says you can't use your Caravan washing machine because they don't have the sullage capabilities to take away your water, so we're collecting water. So I don't really want to wash bed sheets because that takes a couple of loads in the smaller washer, but I've got his presents hidden under there because it's like the one place where he won't see them. So yeah, so bed sheets, don't mind them. Anyway, we have a step stool, our washing basket, and then down the back is another box which just has things like nappies, wipes, swim nappies, nappy bags, extra dummies, like anything and everything you can imagine for having a young kid in a car. So that's kind of the out of the way box that we don't usually need, but if I do, I can get to it. And under here there is storage as well. So we kind of just keep paperwork and things that are easy to store in there. We've got a shade sail which goes on the either side of the Caravan, really. That's in the far corner because we hardly ever use it, so it's there and out of the way, but we can get to it if we need to. So it's just storage really. And then probably the only other thing to mention as well, the fans that we use. Look at Jada's, it's easiest. They're exactly the same. They're Huxin truck like foot area fans or something. I'm going to put the link in the description. This again is something that we've been asked a lot about because they're bladeless, so when they're on there's no spinning pieces and that. However, just so you know, Sirocco fans are actually really good and they're safe to have for kids. So like you can see how much Jada or whoever it is has touched this fan. There, you can see all the finger marks. Sorry, they're so dirty. But these actually like totally safe. Hang on, I'll give you a, like, you're not going to hurt yourself. So going forward in the next van build, I will get these for the kids. That's, yeah, 100%.
In the next van build?
Yeah, because there'll be another one surely.
Okay.
So had we have had our time over, I would have gone for these instead of the Huxin fans. But at the time as well, Jack was only 6 months old, so I don't know. It's really up to personal preference. I would go Sirocco's next time though. Yeah.
Those Huxin fans have been actually really good.
Yeah, they have.
For what they are. Like, they're a cheap little thing, but geez, they're still going. Like, they haven't stopped.
I think
and they do a good job.
Alibaba.
Yeah, like, literally.
Oh, no, Alibaba. AliExpress.
AliExpress.
Oh my god, Alibaba. That's from Aladdin. All right, so onto these cupboards. The one I'm not unsure about is this one. This is Jada's cupboard. She has control of that. Oh, it looks pretty good, really.
Oh, Jesus.
That's Jack's. If anything, hers actually looks better than Jack's.
Jack's got a lot more separate, tiny things.
Yeah. So this is their wardrobes. They're quite deep cupboards. They're probably about that deep, so she can have like 3 piles of stuff in there, and she's got winter stuff at the very back, and then kind of 2 levels of other stuff when she needs it. So that's their clothes. And then up here, oh, birthday stuff. That's one of Jack's blankets. Linen. This is our schoolwork area, so this is everything that gets sent to us for Jada's schoolwork. Towels and beach stuff. This is my swimwear that's all up here, which I know sounds crazy. I need a whole shelf, but I do because I actually go through a lot of it. And this is macrame. So it's really just like whatever we need at the time. So all the shelves that are in here as well, you might have seen in a previous episode, I actually installed those myself. So Chris went down and had them all chopped up. I said, I'm going to do this one. I feel like doing this. Or were you sick or something?
I think I had a bad back.
Oh, that's right. You'd hurt your back.
Yeah, it was like for weeks.
Yeah.
I was just absolutely in agony, but
I was like,
yeah.
Don't risk it. I'll do it.
Like I so wanted to do it because I enjoy doing these sort of things, but
yeah.
Sean jumped in and did it for us. But yeah, like it just, you get these big cavities of like cupboards and stuff, and you're so limited to what you can do. There's so much empty space, and that's a big reason why we put a lot of shelving in to different areas, because it just it makes it so much more practical and
opt for shelving.
Oh, big time.
All right. So then the last thing as well, which is still here, hasn't really changed, is our washing machine.
The handy washing machine.
Yep.
We would highly recommend getting one of some sort because it will save you so many times over.
Of dollars as well.
Well, it saves you money, but it's just so easy. You can do it anywhere, anytime, and you'll be surprised when you can use it and when you don't.
There's rapid settings, 14, 30 and 59, and to be honest, if it's just a few things, I do 14. If it's a decent sized load, I'll do the 30, and that's it. Like, it uses, I think it's about 30 or 35 litres for a wash of water, so when you're off grid, it's not ideal, but usually when we're at the end of our stay and we don't need our water because we're about to top back up, then I'll do a load of washing, and that way, you know, you're not worrying about losing your water in a sense. The only issue it's probably given us is that sometimes it's unbalanced, and if it's unbalanced, it, like, the van is like you can feel the whole van go, and you can see the awning, it wants to have a shake as well.
Yeah,
but
sometimes it shakes around, but at the end of the day, it is nothing.
But
it's really nothing.
Front loader, top loader, I don't really know. We've only ever had a front loader.
Yeah.
If we were to ever do it again and it was a style where there's a top loader, I'm sure it's going to do the exact same job. It's really handy to have a washing machine on board. Highly recommend having one. I wouldn't go with that, especially for a family.
Oh yeah.
But I reckon that's probably about it in here. So I'm going to send you outside with Chris, and Chris can show you around the outside and tell you more about what we've changed out there. And yeah, hope you enjoyed that.
Righto, I'm going to take you outside. I'm going to show you all around the outside, all the things changed. Let's go. Righto guys, we're going to do the outside tour now. Not a lot has changed, but I'm going to go around and just show you a few different little things, and we'll go from there, eh? So first up, what are we going to start with? Well, in the very beginning, we did swap out our toolbox. This is one from Tradetools. It is a much smaller, more low profile and lightweight sort of setup. And to be honest, it's all we've ever needed still to this day. I thought it might have been a bit too small because we had a choice between a slightly bigger one, but then we went the smaller one just because we're really saving on weight at the time. But I'm pretty happy with the way that's turned out. It's still not very packed. There's still a bit of room in there if I had to put more things in. So I'm really happy with how that sort of turned out and all the things that I've got in there. We did get a powder coated to obviously go with the van. It does come in silver, but so far pretty happy. On the front here, I have upgraded the mud flaps. So there was a bit of a funny story behind that. Like these, I think they were 3mm or 4mm or something to start with, but obviously over time they just wear and tear and they fall apart. So I actually got some 9mm rubber from Clark Rubber. I think it was in Broome actually. And I went to Bunnings and got some metal strips, a few nuts and bolts and a few washers, and I've just pre-drilled all the holes, put them on. But the funny thing is, this actually wasn't shaped like that when I first put them on. They actually came right down to about the bottom here, and they were square because I had one big sheet and I just cut it in half to make them obviously even and then bolt them on. But the downside to that is there is nowhere for the rocks to go. So when the car's actually on towing, flicking up rocks, which it always does, it's actually got nowhere for the rocks to go except up onto the mud flap, back up off here and ricochet into the back of the car. So the car's been dirty for quite some time. We had it detailed just recently and realised that there's actually a lot of stone chips on the back of the car, and I think it was all just because of that. So I actually ended up cutting them right back, shaping them up so they actually looked the part, but now they're practical at the same time. So don't do what I've done and put humongous mud flaps on, because you don't need huge ones. But the reason I went the thick ones is because I shouldn't have to replace them anytime soon. So with the gas bottles, we've still got the 4 kilos. We did originally have the 9s. We didn't really know if 4s were going to cut it or not. They were doing really well in the start, and they still are to this day. We still don't feel like we need the 9 kilos, even though we do use a fair bit of gas for a lot of different things, especially off grid. But it can't fold, to be honest. And again, it was down to saving weight and just minimizing everything on that tow ball. What else we got? Pretty much everything up here is still the same running gear. Honestly, nothing's really changed at all. The only thing that probably changed is the jockey wheel. So the jockey wheel actually was here in the center. But if you watched our episode, I think it was one of the early episodes of the Cape series, we had one of those trail mates, one of the hydraulic jacks. And I wasn't aware at the time that they actually dropped. So I actually left it on there for a trip that we did. I think it was about an hour and a half or something like that. And it actually dropped just before we pulled up. And what had happened is we went over like a little dip or a causeway area, and it must have caught, and it totally bent it like a banana. Like it was an annihilator. I couldn't even get it off. I actually had to grind the thing off. So I did a few DIY sort of fixes and repairs while we were up in Weeper, and I've now got a jockey wheel on the outside of the drawbar now instead of in the inside. The only reason I haven't put it back there is because there's still a bit of metal and plates and stuff, and it's just, I haven't got the time to do all that sort of stuff and the right tools and that. So I've just put it on the side, and it still works just as good. Never had any issues with it. It's been a quick fix and a long-term fix, which I'm pretty happy about. So the tunnel boot, it's pretty much the same. I've actually culled, I'm always culling. It probably lasts a month or two, most things, and I start going back through them again. Still got the trusty Navigator bags for our water and electricity. I've got a spare one there for another water. Sometimes you've got to double extend them to get to certain water sources. Really not much. I've just got a couple of chocks. I've got my fishing gear in there and rods, and just a few little bits and pieces like my torque wrench, which I like to torque up the tyres and the nuts and bolts and stuff on the car and the Caravan, especially when doing a lot of corrugation and dirt roads. It does come in handy. It's good maintenance. That was like 30-40 bucks, I think. That was from a local store somewhere. Yeah, perfect. Other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory. So I will touch on, because a lot of Caravans come with the outdoor shower. To be honest, we thought it was going to be a great idea at the very beginning, but I think we've used it 3, maybe 4 times, and I think those 2 or 3 times was way back in the beginning, back at home when we were staying at Mum's backyard, just to bath Jack outside in like his little bucket when he was a baby. And yeah, literally, it's like, I get the selling point. Some people probably use it a hell of a lot more, but for us personally, yeah, it's probably a waste of time. Not really something we'd go for if we were going to go another Caravan again. And just save space, because that actually goes in behind the sink. So you got all that sort of cabling and the tubing for the hose and everything in there. So it'd just save a bit of space and, yeah, a hole in the side of the Caravan basically. Again too, we've been asked a few times about this table. Not many Caravans do come with a second table. They normally come on the awning side, but we got another one installed before we left Brisbane when we picked up the van, and got one stuck on this side. And I tell you what, this has been super handy. You think, why do you have a table on this side? Basically what I use it for 90% of the time is when I'm filling up my water. So these are our fresh water tanks. We've got 3 underneath to 95 or 92 litres. And what I do is I'll get my keys in, I'll take the lids off and I'll leave them here. And I normally use our freshwater filter that I use to fill the tanks obviously, but then connect to the Caravan when we're pulled up for a fair bit. And I'll pull that out, and it's just a good little workbench. It comes in really, really handy for that. But then there's other times too, if you got another caravan here where you're socialising, you got somewhere to put drinks, there's so many uses for it, and it's been super handy for us. The only downside Sean's just mentioned is, here is the kitchen. Sometimes when we're off grid and we're washing out baby bottles and stuff that we have for Jack for the milk, we might put a little bit of water and swish it out and just give it a quick flick out the window. And this has been down a couple of times, and normally you'd just open it up and just tip it straight out, but we've now learnt to do it to one side of the window and not to do it straight down, because many times has this been covered in baby milk and left over, I don't know, gross stinky stuff, because it it doesn't smell very good when it starts to go off. But yeah, we've now learned that as a little trick. I will just touch on, we've still got the original tyres for this, which I'm really happy about, because we've done some pretty harsh, hectic sort of tracks and adventures, so we probably will upgrade eventually down the track, as they are starting to wear, but they're still going quite well. But I will touch on, we were at the start of the gear, we're at Durack River, and we were having a fair bit of squeaking and noises coming from underneath the caravan. So we decided to get underneath and just go over and check a whole heap of different things, like just your nuts, your bolts, your bushers, grease, all that sort of thing. So lucky we had Brad and Lauren with us from Kind of Gypsies, and they had a grease gun on them, and I thought I'll borrow that off them and go underneath. It wasn't until I started pumping grease in that I was pumping quite a fair bit into these bushes, because they hadn't been sort of obviously greased for some time. We did have a service 10,000 way back in Darwin, but it hadn't been touched pretty much since then. Partly my fault for not keeping on top of it, but now I've learned a few things from this experience that I now want to share with you guys. But it just pays to get underneath, especially if you're doing some really hard corrugated roads or those really dusty dirt roads, because it takes its toll on these vans massively. The amount of things, like the conditions these vans go through, it's basically just a box on four wheels getting shaken to the absolute crap. So your running gear and your suspension, everything underneath is like what keeps this thing going. So as long as you keep on top of that, everything else will work just fine. So greasing all your bushes, just going over your nuts. I had probably a handful of nuts, probably 6, maybe 7 nuts that I could have, or 2 or 3 I could have tightened with my finger, but the other ones I got 2 or 3 turns out of it with a spanner on it. So I'm very grateful that I actually got underneath there, and we did check that, because that could have been very costly and quite embarrassing at the same time, especially the gib of all roads. For that to happen just before you start, not good at all. So just a hot tip, make sure you get underneath. Just maintenance is prevention, and prevention is the key to things lasting and going on for the future. So make sure you get underneath there and just eyeball things. Look for cracks, cracked welds, all those sort of things. It does go a long way. Still got the fish rod holder, which is not the fish rod holder anymore. That's basically, yeah, well, it's mainly all Sean's fire twirling stick stuff, and we got a couple of citronella, sort of those candle things you can stick in the ground, and if it's like really bad for mosquitoes and that. We have used them a few times, but I haven't got them out for some time now. But that's basically like our flammable tube, I guess, now for all those sort of things. But it's still very handy. I'm glad I've still got it there, because even if we were to change it, I could put fishing rods back in there, or just about anything. It's just another storage. Everything with caravanning storage. Still got the 2 jerry cans on the back. That's 20 litres in each side, so 40 litres we've got fuel. I was explaining the other day that obviously with our car we got unleaded, so everything is unleaded that we have. So we got unleaded on the back, we got unleaded for the car, we got generators, we've got everything's chainsaw, we got everything that runs on unleaded, which is really handy. So we don't have to chop and change with diesel or anything like that. Still got the ARB bag on the back, that's always handy. Doesn't matter what brand they are, they all do the same thing, but they're super handy, especially when you're off grid. You can throw all sorts of stuff in there, whether it's sandy toys from the beach, or it's literally just a bag of rubbish. If you've been out free camping somewhere and you don't have to, stick it anywhere that you don't want it to, and it's stinking and smelling. We've got the mat on the back. This is an outdoor mat. I've just got my mirrors sitting here because they're out of the way. I'll be putting them on later. Outdoor mat sits on there. Surprisingly enough, that doesn't budge. It doesn't move whatsoever, which is really handy. And I've also put, like, if my bag in here is full of rubbish or we're just going down around the corner, I'll stick other rubbish bags in the back there, and it's just a really quick, easy, handy way to store some things if you're not going far. And the new addition, this is the Yakima. It's a Yakima bike rack. So you can see it can hold up to 4 bikes. We don't have any other bikes at the moment except for Jada's, but we are in the process of getting some bikes for us as well, because we've been talking about it for ages, but we just haven't done it. But to know that we've got a bike rack here that can carry everyone's bikes is really, really handy. One thing I will mention is it's basically just a normal slot-in setup where it goes into a hitch pin, but this does not come with it. This is something that I had to buy separately. This was again in Darwin, I think I found this, and it's basically just one little set. So it comes with the hitch and then the plate and the 4 screws. So you can almost bolt that to absolutely anything. And that's been on there since Darwin, and we've done all through the Kimberley, we've done the Gibb River Road now, we've been off-grid and doing all sorts of camping and stuff. We've had the one bike on there. So it hasn't budged, it hasn't moved, it hasn't bent anything, it hasn't done anything. And I was quite skeptical about it to know if it was going to be doing anything funky, because when you think about all that weight hanging off the back there, like, yeah, I don't know, the physics of that doesn't sit well, but it's been performing really, really well. What else is there? It's not too much more, to be honest. Like, everything's still very, very much the same. We've still got the same awning. We've got the table on this side too. We've got another one of those big W things that Sean's got inside. These things are so handy. We use them all over the place.
This one's Kmart, actually.
Oh, Kmart. Well, just goes to show you can buy them just about anywhere. So I'll show you just a few things that we have outdoors or outside all the time. So it's basically all bug related mainly. So that's our Sandalwood sort of burner that we showed you way back in Kununurra. We haven't used it for a little while because bugs haven't been too bad, but it's got your aero guards, we've got Bushman's, another aero guard, sunscreen, especially if we're out near the beach or doing something like that, it's there ready to go. What have we got there? Nature's Botanical.
Nature's Botanical.
Oh, Nature's Botanical. So it's for like bites and things like that.
And it's like air guard.
Yeah, like an aero guard. Mozzie bands. We wanted to try and give these a go. I don't know, I'm still skeptical about these and how they work, but in saying that, I haven't really used them much either because we've obviously got so much more going on here. Oh, this thing is like the best thing ever. This is something that we learnt about when we were up at the Cape Leveque, Dampier Peninsula, just up north of Broome. We were up there not too long after the wet in the Kimberley, which meant that the mosquitoes and all the nasties hung around a little bit longer. So we absolutely got smashed with mosquitoes. We were up there for 5 days, and every single night was just chaotic. It was mayhem. We didn't have one of these at the time, but it wasn't until we started talking to a few locals and explaining our experience that they said, get yourself a Thermacell. So this is the Thermacell. You've probably heard us talk about it a couple of times, but it's basically just that top half there, and you can buy these canisters. This is one of the biggest ones you can get. They come in all different sizes. It's the same sort of butane tanks you use for like cookers and portable camping gear and things like that. So it just literally screws into the top, and you got these little blue pads that go on the top there as well, which they all come in like little individual packs. So you can buy a small pack, a huge pack, whatever you want, depending on how much you use it. And you basically just flick that on, and this is an igniter. So it's like a lighter, and that'll just slowly burn away. So each pad you get up to about 4 hours. So that's fairly good considering if you're using it for that full 4 hours. That's a lot of sitting around and enjoying yourself without getting absolutely picked up and taken away with mosquitoes and whatnot. So yeah, that is now like our go-to. We've been using it ever since that experience, and I tell you what, it actually does work. We've had a really good experience with that over the last few months, and we would not go anywhere without it. So that's basically just our little outdoor sort of collection of things. It's mainly just bug sprays and whatnot. But again too, like when we're packing up, we're about to leave today, it's coming on lunchtime, we're about to leave. So what we can do is I'll just hand that in, or Jada will hand that in to Mum, and then she'll put it away somewhere in the caravan. But like, look how many things are in that one space, and it's all just nice and neat, and you can pick it all up and move around wherever you want it to go. You're coming back around to the front of the van, the door. I'll tell you, I don't know, we've learned a lot about this door and styles of doors over the last few months, because with our van, and I guarantee you're going to have issues with just about any van. It could be the most expensive van on the market, and I feel like you're still going to get issues. But for us, and our issue is the door for when it's on dust. So on dusty roads, we're going to have little bits of issues in the corner here of dust. So we actually still tape the door to this day. We have looked into Caravans and Dometic setups and all that sort of stuff, but in saying that, they're hundreds of dollars when we can just spend a couple of dollars on a bit of tape, because we're not always on dirt. It's not always a thing. So when we do, it's a very simple setup. Yes, there's a couple of downsides. If you forget something, you've got to take all the tape off, which has happened quite a few times, but it's a quick, easy fix, and that's just personally how we like how to keep rolling like that. This is an ATRV Aussie Traveller door. So I don't know if it's just the design of their doors. I don't know if anyone else is having the same issues, but I find we've had a few people that have the doors the other way. So you got the handle here and the door opens that way, and they seem to have less issues with dust. They get it around here still, but obviously because the hinges are there and it's a bit more tighter, they don't seem to have as many problems. So I don't know if that's maybe a design thing too. I don't really know, but I reckon if we were going to do this again, I'd give it a crack the other way and maybe look at a slightly different door. And to be honest, it's actually like the only real serious problem we've had with this van the whole time with dust. Other than that scupper valve that Sean was talking about inside, we haven't had really anything that major, because that's been fixed since, because we're never going to open it again. The door, yes. In saying that, like it doesn't push that much dust in. It's mainly in the footwell and around sort of the step area. But if we were to do like a all-day dusty track, it will go further into the van. So it's just easier just to tape if you know you're going to be on that road for some time, or at least quite a few hours. Outside, this is a new little setup that we've got. This right here, this has been our little test piece for the last few weeks. It's basically just fake grass. It's something you can buy from Bunnings. It's just got the plastic bottom. It's got the fake sort of grass over the top. We've got this actually in our footwell just in here. So it's the last step when you get into the van. We've cut it out to shape and do all sorts of stuff like that. But then we've been testing this out just to see how it goes, because ultimately I think now we're going to get another piece like this, but do it within the same shape as that actual Austrail mat. So it's just like a nice patch of grass, I guess, when you walk out, but it does the same properties as cleaning your feet. It's soft on the ground. You're not picking up crap everywhere. You can brush them off, but it's just as easy to give it a quick sort of shake out, and everything sort of comes out quite easy. So that's our quick easy fix for outside, because I know there are a few things like muck mat. There's another one that I can't think of the name right now. All well and good. That's personal choice again at the end of the day, but for us that's quick and easy, and it's super bloody cheap. Last but not least, the Ziggy. So we get multiple questions about our Ziggy and the setup and everything that we have. So this is basically how we travel all the time. This is how I pack it, this is how it sits, and it honestly doesn't move very much at all. We've been on so many corrugated roads and shitty roads that yes, it does move slightly, but it doesn't do to a point where it's going to break anything or it's rubbing up against anything in the tunnel boot. It's actually been really reliable. So this is Dun & Watson. So Dun & Watson 60 litre fridge slide, and then there's a little bench that comes with these fridge slides too. So this is super handy. Obviously you've got the fridge slide there to keep your cooking and your barbecue on, and then we use this obviously to serve on, but it's great for socialising too, or if you've got people hanging around, there's somewhere to put food and a couple of drinks and whatnot. And on the end there, you've got utensil holder. You can put your tongs, you can put your scrapers, you can put all sorts of stuff. I don't like really hanging them there because Jack always comes up and grabs everything. What else have we got? I always like to carry a few alfoil trays with me. I'm always picking them up everywhere I go, so quick and easy. And our famous pan that apparently you cannot buy anymore, which is a real shame. Because if you've got a Ziggy, you know that it fits absolutely perfect. It's like the snuggest fit. Outtakes. So I should probably take that out. Yeah. So I'll show you this again and why it's perfect for the Ziggy. No? There. Far out. That's not touching or anything. You just got to get it perfect, but it just goes to show it is a very big pan, and yes, it can fit. We've had roasts and stuff in it that sit about this high. When you think about it, there's quite a bit of headroom there to stack up, or put some big roasts and sort of setups in there. But that's that. Yeah, again, why we chose Ziggy, it's, I don't know, for us at the time, we're very new to it all, so we wanted things that were going to be practical and work. And the biggest reason why a lot of people go with the Ziggies, especially in tunnel boots, is because it goes half. Once that lid goes over, it's a fairly big barbecue when you think about it, height-wise. To be able to flip that lid and have half the barbecue, obviously it's a simple, straight-up choice why we go on something like this and why other people do go that. The barbecue itself, I'm pretty happy with it. I like it because it's a big open area. It's got plenty of room where you can stack, big amounts of food if you want to do that. But the heat, as soon as you whack that on high and shut that lid, that temperature gauge it climbs so quick. And it's awesome for roast. We love our pork roast, as a lot of you know, and you can get some of the best roast you've ever cooked in these things. I know some people struggle in Webbers and that, but again, personal choice. But for us, going forward and into the future, we'll definitely be sticking with a Ziggy. It's just been such a great option and choice for us, and I can't see it changing anytime soon. I have plumbed this in permanently too. So what I actually did is I got a gas cable, which you would normally, most people just let it sort of sit in, you could let it sit in this tray where it's actually sitting down on the fridge slide, and then just pull it out, because the gas fitting is actually up underneath here. So most people just pull it out, click it in, and then when you finish with it, pull it out, throw it in. I probably could have left it that way, but I wanted to get a bit creative and mix it up a bit. So I actually drilled a humongous hole straight through the tunnel boot, through the floor, and came out the other side. So what I did is I got the longest gas cable I could, wired it up to this, fed it through that hole, and then back to that point. So I made sure that it was obviously going to work. I wasn't just going to drill a hole and hope for the best, but it's measured out just perfect, so I can slide that in and out and I have no issues, and it's got enough there for it to obviously sit here, and I can still move that around and do things with it that I want to do. So it's not too restricted, but I just don't have to worry about, plugging in and plugging out every time. Again, some people that's a great idea, some people that's bloody stupid, why don't you just plug it in every single time? But again, personal choice. Everyone's got their own ways of doing things. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I'll just pack it up real quick and show you how actually easy it is. Easy as. So that gas fitting is literally just here. So that's the one that goes into, most Caravans will have that probably in about the same area too, because a lot of these Caravans and other styles always have some sort of pull-out kitchen or something, and that's all there. So I've actually got hot and cold water underneath there too, if I ever wanted to put a sink or something like that in there. So that's basically the Caravan in a nutshell, without sort of going into things that you already know about the van. But I must say, I'm very, very, very happy with this van. We've put it through some stuff. We've gone down some serious tracks, some harsh conditions. We've been in some really cool off-grid locations, and this van has always just performed. There's never been anything that's gone majorly wrong. For like a cheaper van that not many people know about, a small business van, it's just, I can't fault it. I really can't fault it. For the little issue on the door, easy fix. You could get a Caravan. You could even probably change the door. There's always ways to fix things, but ultimately, loving the van. It's really cool. So without further ado, we'll go back inside and we'll have a little bit of a rundown on everything. We'll finish the video up.
So other than pretty much everything we've said, the only thing I'd like to touch on as well is things we would change if we were doing this again. So the kitchen and the lounge, we would definitely swap. They would be the other way around. So the kitchen would go here and the lounge there. The reason being is having a kitchen here, you can have that curved bench top. You get a lot more space. There's deeper storage for your shelves as well. Just having a kitchen here would be better. And to be able to stand here and look out the front at your outdoor area and where the kids are playing and stuff, and just be in your environment in a sense, like that to me is better rather than standing over here. Because I often find, especially if we're in a park, we look at the next caravan and it's like, oh hey, how you going mate? Like, really nice to look under your awning, I'm just doing my stuff in the kitchen, you know? So yeah, I definitely do that over there and sofa here. And the other thing, I'd go a double bunker over a triple bunker. And the reason being is the lowest bunk, it's great to have indoor storage to put things there, but it's even better to have a hatch on the outside that you can access. So you can put chairs in there, you can put tables in there, you can do whatever you like really, whereas at the moment we're kind of limited as to what we can use that space for. But out there, endless.
But not to mention the bunks are much bigger.
Yeah.
They increase in size as well when you get a double bunk versus triple.
Jada can't sit up in this.
No.
Jack can still because he's small enough, but Jada can't sit up. If it was a double, she'd have a lot more room and she'd be able to sit in her bed and do things in her bed, whereas at the moment she either lays there or she's like, it's just like ever so slightly cocks her head sort of thing. So yeah, that's the downside to a triple bunk if you don't need it. So apart from that, as a major caravan change, like swapping things around, the only other big swap that we would do is put the bunks on this side and the kitchen, the bathroom on that side. So having the bunks on this side means that when there's afternoon sun, morning sun or anything, that's where our awning is, which means that their beds would always be shaded. So at the moment, if there's sun on their beds, it gets hot down here, like really, really hot. So that would be beneficial to them, but it would also mean that we can keep an eye on them. So if their windows open, are their blinds open, like go to sleep, you know, when we're outside of a night time. So it's good from that perspective too. They can open and just go, Mum, and have a quick chat. So we definitely love to have bunks on this side. But really, other than that, we love our caravan. It's done amazingly. It's seen us through what it must be like coming on 20,000 Ks now.
Yeah, it'd be probably over.
Yeah, probably 20,000 Ks. We haven't had to change tyres yet. A couple of general bits of service things, like, you know, maybe a silicone piece is cracked, so we've re-siliconed. But other than that, like, this van has seen us through everything and it's done it really, really, really well. Like, if we had to go another trail caravan, if you ask us now, will we have another trail caravan? Yes, we would have another trail caravan. They're a really good van.
I've said it to countless people, like, just recently I've seen to get more of an influx of messages from you guys asking about trail. Would you buy another one? Do you recommend them? Like, I get asked a fair bit about it, but I always answer it the same way. Like, Sean just said 100% would we go a trail again?
We have punished this thing.
If you've been following us from the start, you've seen everything we've done with this van, and it's been to some pretty crazy, gnarly places. It's seen some insane roads, corrugation. Like, there's so many things this van has done, and yet it's still in one piece. Nothing major's gone wrong. All the running gear is good. Like, everything still is exactly the same as it was when we first bought it.
The other thing to note about this is that our model was actually made in China. So the initial framework, which is like the roof and the walls and all the structural pieces, are made there.
The shell.
The shell. And then it would be sent here, and then in Australia they would fit all the things like aircon or fridges and things like that. However, Trail now have actually moved to an Australian warehouse. So the fiberglass model and the wooden framework model are both being made in Australia now. So not only are they like a good van the way they were, but now being Australian made, like that in itself is a massive selling point, especially after COVID and everything. You know, everyone wants Australian made and to have something from this country. And Trail is growing in leaps and bounds, and I would almost call that I think they're going to be an up and coming larger brand down the track, because
I reckon so. I'm going to call it too.
Yeah, we know the team really well now, and they care about their vans. It's family based, it's Australian based now. Like, they're just doing things to make it better for the market. So yes, we would buy a Trail again, 100%.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
It's proven itself time and time, but like, it speaks for itself. You just have to watch our videos and you can see everywhere we've been. So yeah, going forward, very good chance that we'd probably, if we got to build again, we would go with Trail. Just because it's been reliable. What more do you want in a van? So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, something like that does happen down the track, which would be absolutely amazing, because like most people, if you do something the first time, if you do something the first time, like, you don't know what to expect or what to you don't know what to expect or what's going to come, what you're going to need, what you're not going to need. It's just one of those things. It's like anything in life. You've got to learn how to do it and how to do it better. And that's exactly what we've done here in the last year and a half with this van, is picking up little bits and pieces. Like, there's not a great deal that we'd change, but there's just a few things we'd change. But it actually just works really well. It's an awesome van. But other than that, I think we might wrap it up there. I think we're done.
I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Oh, like,
I don't know how we got through this.
Yeah,
oh
that
my
is
God.
insane. Like, it is so hard to get anything like this. Like, this video is going to be a fairly longer one, but to be able to get the amount of footage quietly and without any interruptions is like almost impossible.
It's better to break it up for us rather than one big long stretch these days.
Oh man, it's
If you have any questions whatsoever, please drop them in the comments below. We want to get back to you all. I'm sure there's information that we've forgotten. Can you come this way? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, because I think we're at like 40% subscribers, so there's like 60% of you that are letting us down right now. No, we still love you anyway, you're all legends. And what else? That's about it.
That's it.
We'll catch you on our next episode, I guess. Hope you enjoyed this.
See you guys.
See you.